So usually when someone's, sitting there in a say they're in a facility, what's going to happen is they're going to get lifted by the hoist, and the sling's going to get applied to them. There's not much interaction with the person being hoisted. So what we like to train is, rather than coming in and lifting the arm up, straightening someone up like that, getting them all ready to hoist, and then pulling them forward, getting the sling and sort of shoving it down their back, we sort of take the approach of come in, get down to their level and engage with them. Say, hi, Michelle, how are you today? Oh, she's smiling, so everything's okay. So what we're going to do is pop the sling on today and use the hoist and lift you. Is that okay? So it's always good to get engagement from the person who you're doing the hoisting with. Now, so you've got a problem with your left arm there. How's your right arm? Good. Are you able to reach across, grab your left elbow and lift your arm across for me, please? So I know this is like a pie in the sky fantasy sort of thing, but anything you can do to reduce the manual handling for the carer is a good thing. So, if you can develop lifting strategies that give the minimum amount of manual handling for the carer, that's the good thing. Okay, so I'll do the fold this way and the fold that way. And fold the head support down. Now I can manage this thing with one hand easily. I'm going to pull Michelle's shoulder onto my hip and place the sling into position. Head support up. Sorry for bashing in the face, but it's all right. And so I'm going to use my hand in that pocket to pop the sling down into the correct position. So where the sling needs to be is this part here needs to be in line with your coccyx, just there. So anything higher than that and the person will feel like they're falling out of the sling. Anything lower than that and it'll be cradling them a little bit too much. And it makes it difficult to put the leg supports on then. So that's in position now. So what I do is I separate the leg straps there and I pull them around the side and pop them into position there. Same with this one, pull it around the side and pop it into position. So there's a couple of different techniques for getting the sling underneath the person's bottom. So you can push the edge webbing of the sling into the cushion whilst it's away from the skin. You can pull it like that, so you're not dragging it over the skin. So another way, if the person has good skin integrity, so you're not really concerned about abrasion, you can place the leg strap underneath the knees and pull the opposite leg support and do the same the other way. And that'll get the sling in exactly the right position. So this is a situation where we use the pockets on the legs, and we always put our outside hand in so you're not all chicken winged up. So we lift the leg up slightly and pop the sling on. Same the other way. Lift the leg up slightly and sit on there. And these pass through each other. So we're going to use the MoLift air ceiling hoist. So with the correct training, it's with a ceiling hoist, it's conceivable with the correct clients that you can do single person transfers, so single carer transfers. And the benefit for that is that it reduces the number of care hours needed and it saves the person's money out of their NDIS plan or their aged care package. So there's various lengths here on the leg supports, so little webbing loops. So the shorter you make it, the more the person's going to be into the head support. The longer you make it, the more upright they'll be. So I'll put it on the second longest one. And on the shoulder support, there's only one loop. It's one continuous loop, and I'm going to show you what that's about in a second. So when you're doing hoisting, always come and stand next to the person. And when you get to the point that the hoist is about to take up, make sure that everything's connected properly, because the majority of accidents that cause injury with hoisting is due to either using the wrong sling or not having the sling correctly attached to the spreader bar. So you ready to go? Here we go. With the distance between the lifting points here and how comfortable Michelle's sitting, like it's very easy, like you're not pulled into a little ball or anything like that. And I've sat in these things for like quite a while, and you can sit there for a long time. So just going to pop that on there and pop the chair out of the way.
That high density foam, Andy, makes a real difference to the comfort in the sitting position as well. When I was hoisted up in this, I just noticed that I felt like I was sitting on a firm surface, not sort of being suspended in a hammock, so to speak, that was folding me up.
For sure. Because with the softer slings, just by virtue of the fact that there's no body in the material, if it's not properly supported, like through its design or through the strength of the fabric, it will end up, you'll feel like you're sitting on a webbing strap the whole time. So you can see that with a ceiling hoist, it's very easy to do a transfer. So I'm going to pop Michelle's feet up on the bed, and I'm going to pop it down. So we've got the fixed loops here, and they won't change. But what will change here is this sliding loop, because it's not fixed to the spreader bar. When Michelle's bum hits the bed, this strap here will go loose, and this one will take up the weight. But as it goes down, this will start to slide, and it'll automatically put her down. So it eliminates the need for using a hoist with a tilt frame. So you see, this one's now loose, and this is starting to move. So automatically puts it down, and going back the other way, it does exactly the same thing. I'm just holding these here because as soon as this takes up, it's got a little bit of a tendency to pull the sling up someone's back. So if I hold that there with just a little bit of force, not a lot, just to hold the fabric against Michelle's legs, it'll stop the hoist from pulling up her back. And so it brings her up into the sitting position automatically. Because I selected not the longest loop here, Michelle's in a little bit of an inclined position. So I'm just going to grab our chair back.
So you can see Michelle's leg posture is really great there as well. It's not being pulled apart, and we're not exerting undue force on Michelle's legs either by not having the sling loops intertwined the way that they are. And that's, I think that's important to highlight.
Yeah. It's like for specific clients, you can actually not loop the slings through and like take this one to that side and that one if they need to have their legs separated. But that's on very rarely do we see that. So you can see Michelle's in quite an inclined position, and the temptation is always to, when you're putting someone down, to grab this handle at the back and give it a good old reef and tip them up. But because Michelle may need the head support, so she might have poor trunk control, we always think that doing that to someone and pulling them forward, and like they potentially fall out of the front of the sling, they're using a sling with head support for a reason. So what we try to do is, if you're putting someone into, say, a power chair, tilt the chair so that the backrest angle matches the angle of the back of the sling. Or if they're going into a conventional chair like this, you can tilt the chair. I'll just come down a little bit more. You can tilt the chair like that, and you can see if I took the chair away, Michelle still wouldn't fall on the ground. But because if I pull it back that way and then lower her that way, she's sitting as upright in the chair as she can possibly be. So that's how you pop someone back into the into a chair, into a sitting position without like reefing them around and making it so that they fall out the front of the sling. Sorry, try not to hit the person in the head with the sling bar as well, especially if they're your wife.
So critics will say, Andy, that there are some safety issues surrounding tilting chairs back like that. That's not my opinion. Do you want to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of that from a safety perspective for the user?
Yeah, for sure. So when people like do have those sort of concerns, my rationalization of it is, if you took the chair away, there's no chance of the person falling and hitting the ground. So that's the first thing. Like the safety of the person being hoisted is assured. When you grab the back of the sling and pull someone back into the chair, that's a manual handling issue. So you're starting to put force like through your body to get the person in the correct position. Or if you're pushing knees, there's still manual handling issues. So it's not suitable with all chairs, that's for sure. Like, so if the chair had wheels on it, you probably wouldn't be doing that because it'd be uncontrollable. But it's you can, by using the longer loops on the sling on the leg supports, make the person very upright, and you don't have to do that tilting with the chair if that's an issue. So, but you know, if it's a power chair or a wheelchair that has tilt, there's no problem. What you're really trying to do is get that angle between the intersection between the backrest and the cushion to be the first thing that the person's body hits, so that then they are sitting as far back on the cushion as they possibly can. Because someone who's in a chair all day, it's one of the things that really gets to them. If they can't get all the way back in the chair and then they start sliding forward, it's really quite upsetting for them. And you've probably seen it a lot in aged care facilities as well. You know, older residents who are in like chairs all day, they end up sliding forward, and there's not much you can do if you don't get it right when you first put them in the chair. So